if you don't value your time, no one else will. And unfortunately, I learned this the hard way. So this story actually goes back to 2013. And prior to that, baseball was always my thing. I tried many different sports. I tried basketball, soccer, football. I actually didn't try football till high school. I just wanted to try it out since I never actually gave myself a chance with it. But I realized that football wasn't for me either. But baseball was my calling. Like, I started when I was 5 and I didn't look back. And I'll always appreciate my parents for, letting me try things to figure out what I like and what's gonna stick. And baseball was just my thing. I played since I was 5, and I got recruited to go to a specific high school to play, and then I got recruited to go play D1 college. And this story goes back to my high school coach. So shout out to you, coach. But he was very hard on me. But at the same time, I think that he was hard on me because he was disappointed in my actions. Once I got to high school, I felt like once I got to high school, I was a little too arrogant, a little too cocky. We would have workouts after school, and I would either skip them or show up every now and then. And in high school, I was just very lazy. I didn't want to work out. I wasn't a big fan of working out. I didn't like being sore. But ultimately, I think that I disappointed him, so that's why he was very hard on me. And that's my own fault. And I don't care. I will always appreciate him for being hard on me because it made me a better man and it gave me thicker skin. But there were some games where he would just, I don't even know how to explain it, but he would damn near crucify me in front of all my teammates, especially once I moved up to varsity because he was the varsity coach. And once I got up to varsity, like my freshman year, man, he would get on me because I was playing shortstop at the time. And, prior to going to high school, I switched. I played all positions, but I ended up switching to outfield, center field specifically. So it really didn't make sense to me once I got to high school that, I was on JV and I'm playing shortstop. I'm like, I don't even like the infield anymore, but hey, you got to do what you're told. But I was not a good shortstop when it came to that level because, as you progress, things move faster. And I wasn't up to speed when it came to that varsity private school level. Like, shortstop just wasn't for me. I was just ingrained on center field, outfield, whatever. So me being shortstop didn't last, but it also gave me a lot of lessons, and it made me realize that, hey, you may have been good in your youth, but now that you got some competition, it's time to get your shit together. And my dad, this is something I'll always appreciate about my dad. Like, he would help coach. So if I was on JV, he would help coach JV. If I was on varsity, he would help coach varsity. And he was never like a main coach. He was just helped out, And he would be standing there after games, and my coach is literally shitting on me, and he would just I know it inside, deep down, it bothered him because he's like, you're talking about my son embarrassing him in front of all the other teammates, And he never said a word. We would have our conversations when we were on our way home after the games, but he wouldn't say a word. He would just let me take it. And I'll always appreciate my dad for that, because it gave me thicker skin. It woke me up. It made me better. And ultimately, it made me a better teammate, once I got to college. And so let's get to the story. I know I've kind of been rambling, but I wanted to give you some context prior to this incident. So once I got to college, there was a point where I took the summer off because I really injured my back my junior year. My junior year was my worst year in college. I hit like 220, and if you're not familiar with baseball, hitting 220 average it's not a good average. So it really bothered me, but I had hyper extended my back my sophomore year, I believe, and it just carried on into my junior year, and nothing worked. Like, I would get physical therapy treatment, didn't work, ice, heat, all that. Just my back was messed up, like to the point where my junior year, when it came to workouts, like I had to do specific workouts catered to me because my back was so messed up. So like I couldn't do squats or deadlifts. Like it was bad. Like I just did not feel like myself my junior year. So I'm like, this is my final year coming up. Like I need to get my back, back to 100%. So we were looking into cortisone shots. And once I got my cortisone shot, I felt like a completely different person. And that summer, since I took the summer off, like I would play summer baseball after every college season ended. Like I wasn't working. So I took that summer off, and then I started working with my high school baseball coach on hitting. He would just throw me BP after summer camp because I wanted to make some type of income if I'm not playing during the summer. And we were just working. Maybe 2-3 days a week, not every single day, because that can be a little bit too much. It's all about getting in good reps, not overdoing it. So it got to the point where when it came to the summer camp, he was the head of the summer camp. So he was like very popular, and he was the face of the summer camp. So parents were always going to him with their kids, asking them questions, what the kid could work on, blah, blah, blah. But there was one time where he was gonna throw me BP after camp, and he was just talking to people forever. And I mean ever. And it got to the point where it was like an hour and a half after summer camp ended, and I'm still standing around, sitting in my car waiting for him. And I'm irritated. So I ended up calling my dad, and I'm like, Dad, this is some bullshit. Like, I'm still standing here just waiting on him. He was like, say something then. I said, you know what? You're right. So I ended up saying something to him. Like once he was like, all right, you ready to go? And I said, look, man, I don't like my time being wasted. And, we've committed to working together. And I'm all about putting in the work. I want redemption for my junior year season. Like I want to end my senior year on a good note. I want to feel like myself again. And he's like, look, man, like I got other kids and parents that want to. I said, that's fine. I respect that. I know you're the head of the program. But at the same time, you got to respect my time. I'm not going to just be standing here waiting on you an hour and a half to 2 hours. Like I've been out here in the heat just like you. I'm tired. I'm sweaty. I feel disgusting. But you got to respect my time. I'm like, I don't live, it's not like I live right down the street. I live a good distance away from the camp. So, I got to be here tomorrow too. And, our sessions are an hour to 2 hours sometimes, depending on what we're working on. And I'm like, you got to respect my time. And I think it definitely threw him off because I never stuck up for myself in front of him before. So, we got into a bit of a heated argument, nothing physical, but it was just like back and forth, like, hey, like what is going on? Like, why do you think I want to just be standing here all day waiting for you? So we went back and forth, and then we ended up going our separate ways. We didn't even do a session that day. And I went home, I reflected to my parents, and I was like, I stuck up for myself, but at the same time, like, I thought that I was professional. I wasn't like disrespectful to him at all, in my opinion. And they were both actually proud of me because, at the same time, like, you have to have that self-respect for yourself, and you cannot get time back. That's one thing for certain. You cannot get your time back. So that's one of my biggest pet peeves, like, especially now that I'm 33, that, like, if my time is wasted or I feel like someone's taking advantage of my time, I got a problem with that, like a big problem. And you should too, because when people don't respect your time, they're going to continue to take advantage of it over and over and over again. And that's something I wasn't going to deal with him. Like, I made it known that I had an issue. And it was actually funny because the next day he we saw each other, and it was like we didn't even have that incident. He just talked to me about something completely different. I was just like, oh, okay, that's just how we gonna run with it. And we actually did a session that day right after, and we got after it, got in some like good reps of BP, and it was like nothing happened. It was crazy. But it just goes to show that you have to stick up for yourself, because people will take advantage of your time. They will look over you. And if you don't stick up for yourself and you continue to let it slide, they're going to keep doing it over and over. And that's the last thing you want to happen to you, because you're not respecting yourself. And, if you don't stick up for yourself, it's going to be rough for you in life. Don't be like me. There's still plenty of times where I've been taken advantage of, or I feel like my time's been wasted, but you just learn from it. But yeah, it was that moment when I realized, hey, I got to stick up for myself. So let's make it happen. Not to boost my ego, not to, feel like I'm in charge, like none of that. It was just respect. And you can tell that since I stuck up for myself, he respected me a lot more. And I think it actually made us a little closer, to be honest. So, but yeah, that's the gist of the story. I know I was rambling a little bit, but I wanted to give some context. But yeah, that's the story. So remember to make sure to value your time, and to make sure that people value your time. And if they don't, let them go. Take control or be controlled.